No, yeah, number 10. Let me see where it is. Put it.
I think he means 8 and 7.
Not 7. I think it's 8 and 6.
Is that what it is? I'm looking for it right now.
It's
shit. Where did I put that thing? Is it on? Oh, there it is. Number 8. Yeah.
well, you gotta do that to us, man.
I was actually surprised that you guys got 7, but then couldn't work out Taylor's theorem. The most popular incorrect answer was 15. Everybody kept putting. I was planning on doing that problem in a few minutes. And
Yeah, the answer was an 8, right?
the answer was 18.
Oh. Well.
Oh, Eduardo.
Herzog is this old-time professor at Cal Poly. I'm sure he's passed away by now. Thoughts are pretty fucking Angels lost today. Anyways, Herzog had these examples of these series that would converge, but I mean, you would have to go out, you know, like 40 places or something just to get any kind of reasonable amount of accuracy. The reason I asked number 5 the way I did is because this is where you have a lot of programming mistakes. A lot of you guys, well, whoever worked out the problem, and I'm sure one of you did and then shared it with everyone, you came up with n equals 5. Okay, but you have to remember that the counting starts at 0. So if you only do 5 terms, you're not guaranteeing that error tolerance. These are the kinds of mistakes that like Jack Hoffman tells us about, you know, because Jack was practicing engineer, you know, his whole career. He just retired and he teaches out here just for the fun of it. And he's bored, you know. See him every now and then. Hanging around East Side. I think he lives in apartments pretty close. Anyway, so you know, he would talk about, you know, stuff like that. All right. Okay, your final exam for tomorrow will be timed. Now, what I want you guys to do is, and I'll put this in an announcement. Make sure you look at your percentages. What we are learning slowly but surely is that Big Brother is sometimes watching. So getting in and, you know, manually changing things and stuff like that, these are things that some administrators might look into. So that's why I'm trying to do everything timed, you know, after we had that meeting. But in any event, so the final exam will be tomorrow and it'll be just another time test. Most of you don't have to take it. Okay, so I was looking at grades earlier and most of you have already got your 90%. So
What if we're at like a 92 though, and we don't know how we're gonna do on the take home?
right, well, the take-home test, the 10 questions on the take-home test, there are only 2 of them that are gonna probably give you problems, and they're the last 2.
I think those would be fun ones to do in class right now together.
Now you gotta somehow work it out. Like the one, okay, so number 9 is very similar to the one I did as an example 2 days ago. I think the difference in that problem is instead of minus 4y, I think that's what it was, minus 2y. And number 10 is, again, it's a power series one, but in looking at it, I'm wondering if this is one of these special case scenarios. Or I could do something. Anyway, so let's talk about what we were going to talk about today. So I was going to go through.
How many questions
Yeah.
is the final?
What about it?
How many questions is the final?
There'll be like 10 questions again.
Okay. Thank you.
I try to keep everything like at 10, you know. And just, you know, there'll be a hard integral to do. There'll be, you know, some kind of parametric equation question. Probably a Taylor series question. Maybe a differential equation. But just, you know, go back through all of, even, you know, all of the tests that have been handed out and look for problems similar to those. I'm not out of nowhere going to come up with a word problem or something like that for it. Okay, so let me share the screen here. And oops, back to there. Share the screen. I wonder how many of my colleagues across the country have gone, okay, now we're going to share the screen. And you know, there's got to be at least one person that had a bunch of porn up or something and get in trouble. It happened to a high school teacher. He was given a test and remember how like our classrooms are set up where I sit up in the front, you know, and then there's that computer there.
Mm-hmm.
Some dude was doing that and the class was taking a test. He was watching porn. He didn't realize that the projectors were on. So, yeah, 185, last lecture. So the fellowship of 185 for the summer is coming to an end. My wife and I are going to be going to the Paula Casino over the weekend.
Where is that?
It's in Temecula.
It's open?
Oh yeah, Morongo's open. A lot of
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
So only here in Orange County and a few other spots are things closed?
Well, you got to remember that, you know, the Native American, that's sovereign land. You know, they can do whatever they want.
Oh.
Same with the Morongo tribe. I mean, there's social distancing and all that stuff.
Yeah. But that's
We're not big, but see, we're not big gamblers. I mean, I've already told you, like, the only time I'll ever gamble is if I find the video poker machine that, like the one that's out in Laughlin. There's in video poker, most of the time, if you're playing video poker, if you get a full house, it pays 8-1. Okay. Now, if you're at some of the more fancier casinos, like some of the nicer ones like the Wynn or some of the newer ones in Vegas, sometimes you can see this number go down to this, and I've even seen it as low as this. Okay. Now, what this professional gambler guy said one day was that the way that we all make money in Vegas really is with video poker. Because every now and then you can find a game where it's 9-1. And if you find that game, you just plant yourself there and play. So I'm out in Laughlin, one of the only casinos, and I find a video poker machine. It just jacks are better. No kind of game. They paid 10-1. And not only that, I could put in as much as $25 per hand. So my big plan was I was going to build my stack up to that, and I was going to park myself at this table for maybe till the sun came up. I don't know. Then my friend Mark went and got this hot dog thing he got was just massive hot dog, all this chili. Anyways, he ate this entire thing like within 15 minutes. And then this thing started fighting back. So point is, I had to leave this table, but I hope that they never switch it, because if I ever go back, so at the Paula, I don't know, man, they just upgraded all their stuff. So I don't remember seeing good tables, but the best places to go are the places where, you know, people are walking around with oxygen masks and stuff. That's, you know, that's where you get these good tables.
You know, the last time I went to Vegas, I went and I paid some ridiculous fee for this travel package.
Yeah.
My wife's Arab, so I'm not allowed. We were just there for like the shows and everything, all the hiking, all that really cool adventure shit. And I told her, okay, I'm not gonna gamble at all. But if I see that car spinning, whatever that machine costs, I'm gonna put money in it. Just once to get it out of my system. Right?
And you won the car.
No. But it was the car that I wanted, and it was on the day that it finally showed up. The whole entire time we were there, it was about time to check out. Our bags were already at the car. The car was waiting outside, and I saw this like 65 Corvette just spinning, just calling my name, and I wasn't gonna go. I was off to the machine going to put the $20 bill in there.
Yeah.
And she pulls me aside and says, no, we have to go. So as soon as we walk outside to get in the car, and we drove, and we had to do this U-turn to go back on the road to go back towards California, out of Nevada. It's only one way. I mean, it's either going south or north, east or west on that thing. And as soon as I popped that U-turn and we drove back around to pass that casino, the thing went off for that car.
Oh man.
Oh,
Should have been you.
I know. Always. Didn't talk to her.
I tell you, my dad is a retired career Marine, and his last command, he was in command of maintenance battalion in Las Pulgas area, and one of his lieutenants, my dad was the lieutenant colonel at this time, one of his lieutenants had gone to Vegas and called on Monday or late Sunday night or something, and he had won so much money they weren't letting him leave.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he had won like $800,000, this lieutenant, and he was like, man, they're not letting me out of here. They're this and that. They're offering to upgrade. My dad laughed. Okay, so let's look at this problem. So what we found, many of you found, was that the Taylor series for this guy is equal to 1 plus 3/4 x minus 1 plus, and then this weird sum where this 3 was kind of dangling there. Now, whichever, is there one of you that does these things, or do you have a buddy? Hold on. I gotta do this. Listening to this guy's TV is bugging the shit out of me.
We have lots of friends, Bobby. Everybody knows that.
Well, what I'm saying is that remember one time in the Math 30 class, I gave a take-home test, and I'm like, seriously, do whatever you want, pay a tutor. So this one girl paid this tutor $50, and he got a 30 out of 50.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, -1.
That's why you pay them based on how many points they get you.
Yeah. I mean, I was just happy that they were actually attempting, to participate in their own success. Now, what I was going to tell you guys for the final exam tomorrow, like I said, most of you guys don't need it. But just to test and see, what you learned, if anything, is take the final. I'm not going to make the final ridiculous. Final is going to be normal problems. About the hardest thing that there would be on a final would be this problem. Divided by 4 to the n factorial. Okay, so what Taylor's theorem says is that Rn of x, which, if you remember, it's the difference between f of x and the nth Taylor polynomial, can be given by one term, and it's the n plus first derivative of f evaluated at some z times the x minus a to the n plus first power, all divided by n plus 1 factorial. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to find an n such that Rn of x in magnitude can be no bigger than 0.001. Okay, so now let me get out my other paper where I did all this work on. There it is. Okay, so let's see here. So the n plus first derivative, well, the n plus first derivative here, f n plus 1 of x, there's the thing. It's going to be 3 times -1 to now the n plus 2, but that thing's not going to matter. And then it's 1, 5, 9. Okay, now we stopped at 4n minus 7. Then the next one would be 4n minus 3 divided by the 4 to the n plus 1.
Hey, Bobby,
Yeah,
up above you had 3 times negative 1 to the n, and that was multiplied by 1 times 4 times 9. And Fook asked for a 5 originally, and I didn't know what he meant. Was that supposed to be a 5 up there as well?
yeah, that's supposed to be a 5.
Okay, thanks.
I don't know. I don't know why I did that. 5. N plus 1 factorial. And then the power up here is see what was happening is the and then see what was happening is the previous this guy over 4. And so hold on, my dog is tracking here. Okay, but this little part of it isn't really going to matter much. So then it's going to be x to the negative 4n plus 1 divided by 4. Because if we're counting by 4s here, so this is 4 more than this one. This is 4 more than this one. And this guy would be 4 more than that one, right? Okay, now, so the magnitude of this thing of x, which is this thing, it's going to be, well, I guess I don't even need any of that. Get rid of that line. So it's going to be 3 times 1, 5, 9, 4n minus 7, 4n minus 3 divided by 4 to the n plus 1, n plus 1 factorial, and then it's the absolute value of x raised to the 4n plus 1 over 4. Okay, now, what I had said was that the x is between 1 and 2. Okay. So what is all of these numbers are fixed here, but what's the worst case scenario for this? What's a bigger fraction? 1/2 or 1/4? 1/2's the bigger fraction, right? Okay, so a fraction gets bigger when its denominator gets smaller. We all agree with that?
Yeah.
So the biggest, the smallest that x could be is 1. And so we get this 3 times 1 times 5 times 9 dot 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 4n minus 7 4n minus 3 divided by 4 to the n plus 1, n plus 1 factorial. Okay, now, This is the thing that we want to set less than 0.001. Okay. So that means if I flip it over, I'm going to have 4 to the n plus 1, n plus 1. Now, last night, guys, when you guys started the final, started this test, and at about 7:30, I started doing it. And I was able to get everything done by 8:30. But this one took a little bit of time because it's just a bunch of trial and error. 3 times 1 times 5, 9, ... 4n minus 7 times 4n minus 3. It's going to have to be bigger than 1,000. Okay, so what I did last night, this looks like here my attempts. I thought, all right, so let's try n equals 6. So I'm going to look at 4 to the 7th times 7 factorial divided by, okay, now it's the 6 is going to, the multiplication is going to stop at 21, okay? So it's 3, then it's 5, 9, add 4, 13, add 4, 17, add 4, 21. Because n equals 6 in there gives the 21. Okay, so I did this on my calculator, and I'll do it again. Clear. So you take 4 to the 7th power, that's 16,000, multiply by 7 factorial, 5,000, you get 82 million, but now you got to start dividing. Divide 3, divide 5, divide 9, divide 13, divide by 17, divide by 21, and what I got was 131.79. So then I went up to n equal 8, and what I found was, I think it was 261. Okay. So then I went, what I'm seeing is it's not increasing real rapidly. When I did the n equals 10 situation, I ended up with 377. So this is like one of these Herzog things that he used to present to everybody. These series that you just have to go out so far. So you can appreciate how your predecessors from back in the day did all this stuff. Okay, so now you go, I decided, all right, the n equals 20. Let me see how close I am. So it's going to be 4 to the 21st power times 21 factorial divided by 3, and then I had to write them all down. 4, 9. If you look back up here, when n equals 20, I'm going to stop at 77, okay? 13, 17, 21, 25, 29, 33, 37, 41, 45, 49, 53, 57, 61, 65, 69, 73, 77. Okay, so when I did that on my calculator, I'm going to do it again. I got 1205. Okay, so I'm going to get 4 raised to the 21st power. It's a massive number. Times 21 factorial equals, okay, so now I'm in exponential scientific notation. 2.24 times 10 to the 32nd power. Now I got to start dividing. Divide 3. Divide 4. Divide 9. Divide 13. Divide 17. Divide 21. Divide 25. Divide 29. Divide 33. Divide 37. Divide 41. Divide 49. I'm still in scientific notation. 53. Okay, now it popped out. Divide 57. Divide 61. Divide 65. Divide 69. Divide by 73. Divide by 77. And I got 54,000. So obviously I made a mistake somewhere. Let's see. 4 to the 21st power equals that number times 21 factorial equals, divide 3, 13, divide 17, 1, divide 25, divide 29, divide 33, divide 37, divide 41, divide 45, divide 49, divide 53, divide 57, divide 61, divide 65, divide 69, divide 73, divide 77, and I get 1205.77. Okay, now back up in here where I was doing all these calculations, I told you I got so accustomed to my Texas Instruments TI-85 calculator that I make little mistakes on this thing. So I did all these things twice.
Hey, Ty said that you forgot 45. I walked away for 1 second, so I'm not sure if that was the recent time.
Yeah, so I realized this was the hardest problem on the test, and so I did it a few times. Okay, so now what I did, now I know that n equals 20 is sufficient. Okay, so then I started going backwards. I looked at n equals 19. Okay, now for the n equals 19 number, for the n equal 19 number, this is going to be a 20. That is going to be a 20, right? And this is going to be gone, right? Okay, so for the n equals 19 number, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the number I ended up with by 21. Then I'm going to divide the number by 4. And then I'm going to multiply what I got by 77. And what I got when I did this last night, same thing I got just now, 1105. Okay. So then when I went to n equals 18, now what for n equals 18, this is going to be a 19. That's going to be a 19. And now that's going to be gone as well. Okay. So I'll take my number and I'll divide by 20. divide by another 4, and then multiply by 73, and I got 1008. So I figured n equaling 17. Okay. If I divide by the 19, divide by yet another 4, and then multiply by 69, I get maybe it's not the same. Last time I got 966. But anyways, this is 900s. So that meant that that was the winner. So T18 of X is accurate in approximating f of x on the interval 1 to 2 with maximum error f minus T18 is going to be less than 0.001 for no matter what. This is the kind of thing, guys, that you get paid to do. You know, no one's really going to pay you to do an integral. Well, I mean, they might if you're a tutor or something like that. But it's stuff like this. You've got, like, one of my old students, he's he used to be a bike mechanic at Cycle Works where I hang out. He used to hang out before we got close. He got his engineering degree, and then he works for this firm down in Lake Forest. And basically what happened, what he told me, he goes, every now and then we have to update the software, and then some of the equations that we use have to get altered a little bit. It might be that, you know, you're handed this project, and to guarantee this much accuracy, you have to go out 18 places, and that's a lot of programming back in the day. I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about, imagine like way back in the, you know, the 50s when they were working on this stuff. So you can kind of see the historical development of the handheld calculator. And I'm sure there's some kind of a documentary on one of the Prime Video, Hulu, something, where, you know, it just starts off with plus, minus, times, and divide. I remember that calculator. Then I remember seeing a calculator that had these weird buttons. I didn't know what the hell they were, you know. But I think what we've seen here is that if we wanted to figure out the 1.5 raised to the 3/4 power, because that's right in the wheelhouse here, T18 is the thing that would be used. So, and then the other one that you missed, like I said, guys, that was, what's going on here? That was just me trying to get you to count the terms. So you should go back to your guru, and does anybody know the story of why 15? Why'd you guys decide on 15?
Good
I
choice.
think it was the largest number that made it up to like a specific amount.
There's people that do these things like bounding there's a risky way of bounding the alternating series. you know, the alternating series test.
Uh-huh.
Come on, let me see the chat. Anybody's asking me anything. He doesn't read this thread until the end of class.
Generally. That's why I told them, so.
Who cares?
Yeah, that's why I was laying them, that's why I said it.
You know, you guys got to be real careful here. If you end up taking Stan,
yeah,
it is his life's mission to catch cheaters. When, you know, when we have a division meeting a week from Friday, and when Stan starts talking, we're all on a group text with a few of us, Tim, Mariana, Doug, and me, and Andy. Tim will start the stopwatch, and Stan will not stop talking in his Russian accent, you know, for, I think his record so far is 16 minutes. But, and it's all about how he's catching cheaters. I just realized there's just no way, you know, you guys are, you know, going to do it. But tomorrow for the final exam, you're already going to get an A. You should try it. Okay. Now, the other thing about grades are due pretty quickly. I'm probably going to turn them in on Friday. So, and when I turn them in on Canvas, there's like no undoing it. When I enter your grades in on, like in my OCC, there's a period of time where I can go back and change things and stuff, but on Canvas, I can't. So that being said, what's going to happen if you take the final is I'll grade it and I'll mark whatever's wrong, but I can't set up Canvas to do what I can do on Excel in my office. So what I'm going to do is I'll grade your final and show you what you missed and all that stuff. But your grade for the final, if your final is if it's not as good as your other test scores, I just am going to enter in what your average is. So you might see that you got 92% on the final exam, but you probably didn't. Go to the actual test and look at how I marked it. Okay. I learned this when I was doing the math 30 grades. That it was saying that this person had a B, but when I went to go submit the grades, it said this person had a D. And so I was looking at the grades and it was because they were missing an assignment. This is Nardian asking me if we turn in the take-home test tonight, will we grade it? Nope. That is the peril of not taking the final.
Hey, Bobby?
Yeah.
Could you do number 5 with us from the last test yesterday's?
Okay. It's just, you end up with n equals 5. But it's 6 terms.
Because you can't count at 0. So I would have to add 0 plus 1 plus x2 plus x4 to the 2 over 2 plus 6 to the 6 to the over 6. And then the last one. Right?
Yeah, I did this problem a while ago. I don't know if you guys remember me doing it. But I said, look, you know, now we can do some stuff. Okay, so I'm going to integrate from 0 to 1. Let me go back here. E to the negative x squared dx. Okay, so that's going to be the integral from 0 to 1 of the sum from 0 to infinity. Negative x squared to the n divided by n factorial dx, which is equal to the integral of the sum from 0 to infinity, -1 to the n, x to the 2n, divided by n factorial dx. So if I integrate this thing term by term, which we can do because it's absolutely convergent, we're going to get -1 to the n, x to the 2n plus 1, divided by 2n plus 1 times n factorial, 0 and 1. And so when it's all said and done, we have the sum from 0 to infinity of -1 to the n divided by 2n plus 1 n factorial. Okay. Now, we needed to get this accurate to within 0.001. Okay. So we know that Rn of x, or not of x, we know that Rn is less than or equal to Bn plus 1, which is 1 over 2n plus 3 n plus 1 factorial. Okay, so we set this less than 0.001. So that means that 2n plus 3 times n plus 1 factorial has to be bigger, 10, 100, 1,000. Okay? So if you try n equals 5, that's going to be 13 times 6 factorial, which is 13 times 6 factorial equals 9360. N equals 4. It's going to be 11 times 5 factorial. One, 3. Uh-oh, I made a mistake, didn't I?
Yeah, I think it would be n equals 5 because you start at 0 and you'd add the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
N equals, what if it's 3?
I think that will be way lower than 1,000.
9.
About a jump from 5 to 4.
Yeah. So it's n equals 4. So it's 5 terms. Fuck, now I gotta go change everybody's grade. Oh,
Thanks,
but I didn't slip that one by your guy.
What?
I didn't slip that one by your guy after all, but I did slip 18 or number 8 by him, or her, whoever is doing these.
Okay.
I was able to get number 8 passed. I wonder why whoever's doing these missed that one. You know why? Probably because it's a lot of tedious multiple. You know, it's real easy to make a mistake and that stuff. Anyway, so see if anybody has any more questions for me. I think I'm going to try to go to this pizza place.
Which pizza place?
The new one. Mountain Mike's Pizza.
Mountain Mike's Pizza. Never heard of it, man. Where is it at?
It's a part of that 17th Street.
Oh, next to the Korean bakery place, Paris Baguette.
Yeah, they're ruining 17th Street is basically what's happening.
I don't know, man. I think
the best pizza in the world.
Oh,
was Me and Ed's.
Me and Ed's. Oh, you like that spot?
Oh man, it was so good.
Have you had 2145 off of I think it's Pomona and Victoria? I think it's Pomona.
No.
It's really good, man. You should try that out. You can go there and sit down too because they have a lot of outdoor patio. Placentia and Victoria. It was a spot I had never gone to, and it's really good.
Yeah, maybe we'll try that.
Yeah, I haven't been to that new center, the Cava, and I guess the Paris Baguette place is closed at Mountain Mike's. But if you ever get a chance and you like,
my wife really likes Cava. She gets that all the time.
It's Greek food, yeah.
And I don't like the bar that replaced Pierce Street.
Or a Wild Goose? Is that
No,
bar?
it's the Country Club.
Hmm.
I don't like bars that you can't get a regular beer in.
Oh.
We have this IPA with this, and I just want a fucking Budweiser. Oh, sorry, we don't have that.
You wouldn't be able to be drinking buddies, man.
I can't stand those thick chocolatey beers.
The thick chocolatey stuff you shouldn't drink when you're hanging out with friends, and a hazy IPA is probably too strong, but you could still get, I don't know, even a Modelo is better than most just domestic stuff, in my opinion. But yeah,
well,
taste, so it's all different for everyone.
I remember when my wife and I were dating, and her friends drank this beer, Hefeweizen.
Yeah, which one?
It's something you had to put a lemon in it to kill the taste. I mean,
are you talking about like Blue Moon or Shock Top?
No, it was called Hefeweizen.
Okay, because those are all Hefeweizens too, Blue Moon and Shock Top. They're just too heavy. You drink that, you throw up if you have too many.
Well, I don't like that stuff. If I want an IPA, like I make an IPA every night. I've got this mostly full of Miller Lite.
Okay.
And then I put some vodka in it.
That's
and a bunch of ice.
That's not how IPA is made at all. That's the worst idea I've ever heard.
It's called Bobby's Homemade IPA.
Oh, it's awful. You should try Oak and Cold though. It's Yakitori, Japanese yakitori place in Costa Mesa. I'd wait till they reopen though. I'm not a big fan of those eat in the parking lot under a canopy thing they've been doing everywhere. But if they've got like the space for a patio, it's okay. But not a big fan of eating while cars park or try to run me over.
It's going to be interesting going to this casino.
Rip Beer that open. They have outdoor open seating. Nardine, I don't know Rip Beer. Is that Costa Mesa or Newport? Oh, it looks like it's PCH. And it's North Lake Huntington. Yeah, it's cool. It's not far from. Have you guys been to Golden Road? They've got a Golden Road up there too.
What do you think about Biden picking Kamala Harris? What an idiot.
It's an interesting choice, man. I definitely think it's
it is a stupid choice.
It's gonna be a fun thing to see everybody who says that
he doesn't need her. He needs someone from the left side of Florida.
Yeah.
That's what he needs. He's gonna win. You know, he could have Donald Trump Jr. as his running mate, and he would still win California.
Oh yeah, California for sure.
It doesn't matter who his running mate is. He should have picked someone from the left side of Florida where my buddy Greg lives, because that's all. I mean, they're still playing tackle football, you know? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, these are deep rednecks.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how people are going. Like, there's going to be some fun mental gymnastics with people, because she did do a lot of really bad things against minorities as her time as I think she was a prosecutor, and she was also a police officer. So
He was the San Francisco district attorney, I think.
yeah, district attorney, that's what it was. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I think the whole entire, everybody who's political in America, like just period, has to do mental gymnastics to get out of bed every morning, because if you like support anybody from any party and you pretend to care about like other people, there's going to be stuff they do every single day that's going to be like against you. So the way I look at it, just, you know, have some fun. I like watching all the fun thing is people post stuff like vote blue no matter who, or Trump no matter what, or whatever their slogans are. They're all a blast for me. I love them. I'm just waiting, man, for some AI to start knocking people's jobs out of the way, and then we're gonna start seeing some fun, I think, here. But we've got another few years. I think about.
But once the election's over, then we'll see really how bad the virus is.
Yeah, I don't know. I have some friends who think politically, if Biden wins, there will be a vaccine offered immediately, and this will all go away. Trump wins, it also still may go away months later. I don't see that happening at all, especially with Australia just enacting their new, I think they only had a few cases previously.
Oh, New Zealand opened up bragging, hey, we have 0 cases, and the next day they got an outbreak.
Yeah, I don't know if
but it's like an outbreak of what?
Yeah.
A weak flu?
Yeah. I mean,
that's what it is.
Yeah, even if you totally go along with everything done, you could consider it like a double flu, like almost like twice as bad as the normal flu. But we still have to take it into, you know, the truth, which is it's not the bubonic plague and it's not Black Death.
Nor is it H1N1.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not tuberculosis and it's not Ebola. But that being said, what I love watching, not love it because I think it's good, but because I find it incredibly interesting, is what countries like Australia are doing, where you're given a, I don't know if it's weekly or daily, because every country's handled it differently, but you're given like a piece of paper that allows you to go, one person from your family to go outside. I think it's in Wuhan, I think it was weekly. I'm not sure what is in Australia, but that one day is when you're allowed to go shop. And it's just, yeah, man, it is crazy seeing the governments of the world like being like, hey, this is your hour. You get to go outside for those 20 minutes.
What?
If I were to save up enough money to buy a car, is it smarter to buy like a Prius, or how much would you sell me that truck for?